All right, fellas, here we go. We have Mayweather fighting Canelo, just announced. Okay, so many first thoughts about this fight that I wanna talk about. Firstly, um, Canelo's 22, Mayweather's 36. Canelo, to me, is kind of like a young Oscar De La Hoya. I don't think he's as precise in his punches yet. He's only 22, but Um, I don't know how to compare him to where De La Hoya was at 22 because I don't exactly remember. I wasn't actually really even into boxing that much back then. But anyhow, um, uh, just from what I remember from Oscar, you know, uh, they're not as precise, and he's not as good of a boxer as Oscar was when Oscar really cared about fighting. Um, But that being said, look, there's these rumors now about uh, Mayweather's last fight with Guerrero not doing great numbers. So, he needs to take on this fight now to make sure the numbers are good. Here's my theory on all of this. What I think is that I know this is going to sound crazy, and people are going to say I'm May, kissing Mayweather's ass and all this other dumb, whatever you guys call Mayweather fans. I don't even remember what you guys like to call us. But anyways, um, I think Mayweather is so good that the boxing promoters and the boxing community actually have to um, stage possible competitors for him. Meaning, he's so good that they've got to make guys look good before they stick them in the ring with him because he's going to take care of them. Does that mean he's unbeatable? No. Does that mean he can't lose? No. It can happen. Okay. But I think he looked so good against Guerrero, and I called that. That was an easy call. Um, but what I think is that, look, they they gave Guerrero a few fights where you started talking about Guerrero, and then you put him in there and you saw what happened with Mayweather, right? Now, Mosley's an interesting character because we all know that his performances in certain fights were, well, let's just say interesting, borderline suspect, right? I know he's older too, but I believe his fight with Floyd was a genuine fight. I don't think that. Um, I think he was in there to try to really win and try to take it away from Floyd, the undefeated record. Um, I think Floyd got a little sloppy in that fight. Um, I think that no matter what happens, if Canelo wins, then I'll say this: there's no way Canelo is going to be up on the cards against Mayweather, and if he does win, again, it's going to be on a punch, a lucky punch that for some reason Mayweather just can't recover from, even though he's shown an incredible ability to recover from, for example, Mosley's hit. But I have to, this is just my first opinions, but I have to, in order to beat Mayweather, you got to be extremely fast and extremely heavy handed. And I don't think Canelo is fast enough. Um, I think quite possibly Mosley may have taken a dive in his fight against Canelo. I'm not saying an outright dive. I'm saying go in there and mix it up with them. And he's a young guy. They probably told him, go in there, just mix it up with him. And before you know it, he's going to get the better of you because you don't go in there with too much strategy. Just go in there and mix it up, brawl style. There's no way in hell Mayweather's going to give Canelo that kind of performance. No way. That fight was to make Canelo look good. Just like Guerrero's fight against the Haitian guy. Because they knew either they told him to, go in there with the wrong kind of game plan, or they just knew that he was going to try to execute the wrong game plan against a Guerrero type offense. I forget his name, the Haitian guy. But anyway, we all know who he is. The guy whose face bubbled up huge at the end of the fight. Anyhow, point is, look, Mosley is fast and a heavy hitter. Okay, Pacquiao, the fight with Pacquiao, if I remember correctly, against the cheater, what's his name, Margachito. If I remember correctly, they stopped that fight, or it either went the distance, but Margarito was really fucked up. I can't even remember. Mosley, is that my little man back there? Mosley dropped him. Cold knocked him out. Yeah, it was in the 12th, but cold, straight, dropped him. Good night. I mean, yeah, I don't think he got knocked out, but he did not recover. He didn't get up from that knockdown. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take in order to beat Mayweather. And I don't think Canelo has that. Is young. He doesn't have enough experience yet. I think a fighter peaks around 27, 20, anywhere from 26 to 28, and then hovers at their peak till as long as they can hold it, 30, 31. You might say, well, if you're saying Canelo's kind of like a young Oscar, and Floyd only beat Oscar by split decision. But you got to remember, that was the crossing over point for Mayweather. Mayweather went to the big time after that fight. As I understand, that still stands as the all-time highest grossing pay-per-view of all time. I'm sure right going into the fight, leading up to the fight, just before the fight, they had those numbers, and they were telling him, do not lose this fight. So he went in there rather defensive. And Oscar's no, slouch either. But, Oscar, he was always changing trainers and, had his own drama in his own personal life going on. So, but that being said, he still, I think, he had, I think he still fought a very tough fight against Mayweather. And I think Mayweather was just very cautious. He didn't want to lose that fight, which is why he only won by split decision. Part of the reason why he only won by split decision. And didn't really, and I think also out of respect for Oscar, for giving him that opportunity to cross over into that big time, he didn't necessarily want to knock Oscar out. Say that's bullshit. I honestly think that could have been part of it as well too. Don't make the king look bad, especially after he's giving you, oh, come here, brother, come here. So, I've pretty much said what I have to say for my first thoughts about this fight. But I'm not saying it's going to be interesting, and I think Canelo is gonna be a tough fight for Mayweather. But I still don't think that he's got. I think Mosley kind of laid the blueprint for what you have to do in order to beat Mayweather. You have to be fast. You have to be kind of unpredictable, and you have to be able to knock him silly with one good punch. And I don't think Canelo's ready for that yet. I don't think he's capable of against a fighter of Mayweather's caliber. I think Mosley had a career's worth of experience and an excellent trainer. That guy, I forget his name too, but I don't even know who Canelo's trainer is. I mean, maybe that's my problem, but anyhow, that's it. Wait first, wait.